Hello, crypto curious, blockchain believers, work freedom followers, and B-Cert token holders. Joining us on the internet today who are just saying no to the status quo of Web 2 and 3.0. We're going to talk about what does Web 4.0, the user autonomous cloud, even mean, and why do we need it? Hi, I'm Tim Vasco, founder of BlockCerts Blockchain. And I'm going to take you on what it looks like to take the internet from a data gathering, personal privacy tracking, algorithmic marketing machine, an authenticated, autonomous, private cloud, Web 4.0. What does this have to do with crypto, blockchain, and why the heck is it called Web 4.0? Why does it matter? Let's dive in. First, it starts with a couple of words. Let's look at autonomous. The definition is having the freedom to govern self or control our own affairs. That sounds like a good start. That's what we'd like to do with all of our data and privacy and digital lives, right? It's not possible on Web 2.0. Now let's look at the next word. The dictionary defines authenticate as to prove or show, especially a claim or artistic work, to be true or genuine. And in computing, user or process to have one's identity verified. Got it, internet users? Those two words are pretty much everything about blockchain and your future. These words with a blockchain make self-direction and self-governance of your stuff. No more BS about whether others pitch, say, fake, or the tracking of the stuff you do. When you look at the graphics from these dictionary definitions, the use of these words over the last couple of centuries gets pretty interesting. It looks like this graph has steadily climbed for about 200 years. So that means we've wanted more freedom and independence over the last couple of centuries. Autonomous, more independent, that's good, right? Now, let's look at authenticated. In the last 2 centuries, we see a huge drop-off. That's because in the 1800s, people couldn't tell easily if a gold coin was pure or a banknote would be worth anything. The laws and systems weren't there in the 1800s, but over about 150 years, that evolved and changed, and money and trade became a thing we felt we could trust. But that's the issue. People want to trust, expect it again and again, and some of the biggest organizations in the world show they can't be trusted, especially when it comes to using the power of technology. And that's the rub. Authentic was always about trust. Coins and currency and banks and controls we thought we could trust in the good old days started to crumble. And we thought authentic was guaranteed. Integrity, trust, transparency, truth, authentic leadership, all those things just gave us a gut punch in 2008 when we got the global meltdown. The year Bitcoin emerged to say, yeah, that trust thing you thought was there, not so much. What happened in 2008 is still going on, but not much has changed. Fast forward to 2022. Right now, a lot of the same stuff's going on, different pictures, different words. HSBC Bank, example, this past week was told to take down its greenwashing ads by the UK watchdog as being untrue. Greenwashing maybe doesn't seem so bad until you look at the practices way back in 2008. HSBC and others were doing things and kept going for the last dozen years. In 2012, HSBC admitted to money laundering and paid a small fine of $1.256 billion to the U.S. Department of Justice. 12 years later, the bank's gone from money laundering to greenwashing, global campaigns, while their actual practices are much less than truthful. Unless you've never traveled through an airport, you're likely being whistled like a dog by all the ads. These are brilliant ads to whitewash actual practices. HSBC's been whistling the same marketing tune while deep pockets keep their brand image as one of the largest banks in the world. Authentication, transparency, tracking on the blockchain was intended to stop all that, but it didn't with Web 3.0's crypto craze. Think this is too big to matter for you? Think again. The world's local bank, HSBC, was ordered to pay a $60 million fine to borrowers who lost their homes in 2008 through 2012 in the UK. The bank's mandate was to robo-sign foreclosure notices, and they did that also to small businesses across Canada, perhaps other jurisdictions. In Canada, same year, 2012, the bank cut 500 jobs and cut hundreds of millions in loans with no notice to individuals that ran small businesses relying on lines of credit. Lindsay Gordon, chairman and CEO of HSBC at the time, said this move was not taken lightly. It will allow HSBC to focus on our core business that matters most. That was in March of 2012. In December the same year, the fraud and money laundering and a big fine was announced by the US DOJ, giving the bank time to gather up from all the little guys that depended on running businesses on those lines of credit and pay off the government fine they almost undoubtedly knew was coming at HSBC. And that is the world's local banks' business practices. So what if you could have transparency into this kind of stuff? What if you had authentic marketing? What if you had autonomy from where you ran your bank and finances? If you had, you wouldn't be subject to going under by some centralized misdeeds and statements made in their opinion of the business that matters most. Sounding like the promise of blockchain yet? That's why it's Web 4.0. Because Web 3.0 didn't do the job. Stories like this are where all of this started with blockchain, Bitcoin, and crypto. But unfortunately, it got derailed with the trading engines and hype that did the same kinds of dog whistling through crypto and NFT trading that HSBC was doing. At BlockCerts, we committed to start down a different road with blockchain as early as 2013. I looked at the world of business, how it was really operating, and created a token called a B-Cert, be certain, or certainty inside every transaction and data. That was a token to use if you wanted to trade it, fine. But trading is secondary to use and function, and transaction models that actually drive our economics and our businesses and our lives and are the primary function. So blockchain worked the way it was intended. People at any level with even one B-Cert token could be certain about their autonomy and authentication and get rid of the BS. Autonomy's cool. Vehicles driven by data and AI, the future of tech is definitely autonomy. But robo-signing notices on businesses and consumer lines that make them lose their livelihoods in their house, not cool, bankers. Autonomy is driven by data. You can either be on the controlling side of autonomy with Web 4.0, using all of this power to get where you want to go, or you can be on the receiving end, as we have been in Web 2.0, where whatever someone else decides matters most. Whenever and however the power brokers wish, it's going to happen to you. So do you want autonomy to run your life, or the autonomy the big guys have to run you? Authentication is at the root of all of this. Is it true? Is it clear and obvious? Did you know this story about HSBC was out there? If you had a transparent ledger, you would know. So if you care about independence, autonomy, things like the environment, greater security and privacy of your future, start by caring about your authentication. From the water we purify to drink, to authentic food sources, the food we eat, the wine we drink, the power of authentication matters to what we put on our bodies and what we put in our businesses and our digital lives. We buy and support the systems those businesses create. When we're being smart and authentic, we're changing the future. Intuitively, we all know that. Authentication coupled with autonomy are powerful drivers of movements. If we can march down the streets and stand up and say no more, we can now do the same when we walk down the digital street on blockchain. B-Cert tokens were designed for reality. The reality that creates business and economics. BlockCerts use blockchain to design and give everyone a voice and the power to hold their own unique digital selves, create their own unique place, and hold their own version of data and tools privately. From work to art to inventing amazing new models for connections and business, more authentic and autonomous, that's what BlockCerts Blockchain was engineered, and the embedded tokens and NFTs that we have today are there for. Driven from the ground up for personal autonomy and the power of authentication. That's Web 4.0. As the community grows, the community makes it better if it's transparent, can be trusted. Behind every tool we've created to date, from our Orbit browser to our B-Cert wallet and the many decentralized apps that allow autonomy and authentication, the idea of Web 4.0 comes through. That's what was built into every B-Cert token by BlockCerts. In that lies the future of Web 4.0. With every click, every token, every tool is accessible in the next internet. This internet of autonomy, the autonomous cloud, the authentic, provable voice for everyone. That's sustainable. Visit BlockCerts.com and join us to begin your better future. Download Orbit browser. It's free. You can get a B-Cert token for about the cost of a Starbucks for you and a friend.